Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video we are going to look at WWE disrespecting The Undertaker. Update on John Cena's status for WrestleMania 38. WWE superstar says his collarbone was separated by Goldberg. Keith Lee on how he handled the situation of his WWE release. Update on John Cena's status for WrestleMania 38. WWE is going all out to make WrestleMania 38 the biggest show possible, so it is natural for John Cena's name to come up in discussions for the event. But will the 16-time world champion be there? While there are huge plans in place for Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon to wrestle at the Show of Shows, it seems like Cena won't be returning to the ring this April. He is quite busy, with multiple projects coming up. He himself claimed his status for the event was doubtful. According to Ringside News, John Cena will not be a part of WrestleMania this year. He was discussed for a return, as was everyone outside of religion and politics, but it isn't part of WWE's plan. A member of the creative team was quoted to have said this: John Cena remains one of the most consistent stars in WWE history. He remained a full-timer from his debut in 2002 until 2017. The 16-time world champion first appeared at WrestleMania in 2004, where he defeated The Big Show to win the United States Championship. Since then, Cena appeared at 17 straight editions of the Show of Shows. This includes surprise appearances in 2016 and 2019, with the former coming during his recovery from a shoulder injury. The Hollywood star's last Mania match was the Firefly Funhouse match against Bray Wyatt in 2020. Last year's two-night event was the first one not to feature John Cena since 2003. He did return a few months later to put over Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Cena's last match came after SmackDown on September 10th, as he and the Mysterios teamed up to defeat the Bloodline. It remains to be seen when the WWE legend will return to the company. WrestleMania 38 seems unlikely, although a last-minute surprise appearance cannot be ruled out. WWE superstar Carmella spoke about who she feels is a mentor-like figure for her in the company. Carmella has been with WWE since 2013, and during her time in the company, she won the inaugural Women's Money in the Bank to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. While speaking with Chris Van Vliet to promote her new reality show Corey and Carmella, Carmella spoke about how The Miz has been a huge mentor to her. For me, I'd honestly say The Miz. You know, whenever I have an issue or a problem, whether it's creatively or with my character or something going on in a match, I go to him and I try to. For me, if I could be the female Miz, that'd be such an amazing accomplishment. You know, they trust The Miz. Carmella also spoke of how honest The Miz is with her when she seeks his advice. They put him in any position, he's going to shine, and he's not afraid to lean into his role as a bad guy, and I consider that the same for myself. I like to really lean into my role, and anytime I have a problem or issue, whatever is I go to him, he's gonna be honest, sometimes brutally honest, but he always helps me out. Those within WWE have nothing but good words to say about The Miz. With WrestleMania fast approaching, The Miz teased a surprise teammate to take on the father and son duo of Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Last Monday on Raw, the most must-see superstar in WWE history revealed his tag partner, Logan Paul. Before this, in 2021, Logan Paul appeared on WWE programming multiple times. Initially, Paul was involved in a back-and-forth storyline with Sami Zayn. He then appeared at WrestleMania 37, where he was stunned by Owens following the latter's match against Zayn, which Kevin won. Paul was also at SummerSlam 2021, where he dished down on his luck Baron Corbin. Paul's last WWE appearance was on September 3, 2021, episode of SmackDown, where he helped Happy Corbin beat down Owens. Both Logan Paul and The Miz have made a career by getting under people's skin, making them the perfect match to take on the Mysterios at WrestleMania 38. Rene Dupree recently revealed that Goldberg separated his collarbone during the October 6, 2003 episode of WWE Raw. La Resistance attempted to assault the then World Heavyweight Champion in a backstage segment. He fended off all three men before driving a French flagpole into Dupree's right shoulder from an awkward angle. Dupree spoke to former WWE superstar Rodney Mack on the latest episode of his Café de Rene podcast, discussing their contrasting experiences working with the WCW icon. The two-time tag team champion reflected on the injury he sustained. Did you get out alive? Because I got a separated collarbone from working with him. What happened was we did a backstage vignette with me, Rob, and Sly, and then he was the USA, and he grabbed our flag and we did 5 takes and he hit me across the shoulder each time, right here where your collarbone connects, said Dupree. Rodney Mack worked with the WWE Hall of Famer 4 months before the La Resistance incident. On the June 23, 2003 episode of Raw, Mack's undefeated streak abruptly ended in a 26-second match against the legendary superstar. La Resistance's failed backstage attack came after Triple H offered to pay $100,000 to any superstar who took out Goldberg. The segment did not lead to a meaningful rivalry between the two-time Universal Champion and the villainous trio. Meanwhile, away from the ring, Dupree received cortisone injections in an effort to help relieve his collarbone pain. Dude, he hit me so hard, like 3 or 4 times in a row to where it actually effing detached my collarbone. I was living in Louisville. We had a team doctor there. We had to go get a cortisone shot. Cortisone. Man, long term it does more harm than good, right? Because it just eats at your joints, Dupree added. 2 months later, Conway and Dupree insulted Mick Foley and The Rock during an in-ring promo on the December 15, 2003 episode of Raw. Their unpopular words prompted Goldberg to appear and attack both men before waving an American flag. Current AEW star Keith Lee spoke about how he handled his emotions after being released from WWE. Lee was released by WWE at the beginning of November 2021. After developing himself into a real threat in NXT for 2 years, Lee made his main roster debut right after SummerSlam 2020. The former NXT North American champion wasn't fully utilized, and there have been multiple reports about his attitude problems leading to his downfall. The Limitless One recently spoke on Busted Open Radio and said he was very calm after being released from WWE. Lee was confident in his abilities and had a clear idea of how to move forward. I think that when it happened, I was extremely calm. I don't think that it was because I had any sort of plan. It was more so that I had a lot of confidence, and even with sudden changes occurring and things of that sort, I was confident that one way or another, I'd figure out what I needed to do to move forward and continue doing what I love to do. American wrestling journalist Wade Keller reported that Keith Lee's attitude problems were the main cause of his downfall in WWE. During a PW Torch audio show, Keller explained Lee's career didn't move in the right direction. He highlighted people who have spoken up about his attitude issues have no intentions of hurting or affecting his career. Number 2, all this predates COVID and what he went through, including the attitude issues that were going on that I heard about in NXT. I'm not making up the fact that Keith Lee did himself in through his own actions for years in the WWE system. His career has not gone the way it should for reasons I've conveyed from what other people have told me who are not out to get him, and there's no incentive for them to say anything bad about him. Do you want to see Keith Lee back in WWE? Sound off below. It looks like The Undertaker won't be a solo inductee in this year's WWE Hall of Fame. The Undertaker was recently announced as an inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2022. The WWE Universe, as well as several wrestling personalities, congratulated the Deadman on the honor. Many believe that the decorated veteran should be a solo inductee this year. Now, WrestleVotes has shared a big update on the possibility of a solo induction for the former World Heavyweight Champion. As per the report, he won't be getting a solo induction, and WWE will announce more inductees in the coming weeks. Although the idea was in fact considered, I'm told The Undertaker will not be a solo inductee at this year's Hall of Fame. Source expects additional names will be announced soon, potentially starting tomorrow, wrote WrestleVotes. When one discusses the biggest superstars in WWE history, The Undertaker's name is bound to come up. The man behind the legendary character, Mark Calloway, did an incredible job during his 30-year WWE run. The character not only became a huge hit among the WWE universe but also garnered major mainstream attention. The Phantom kicked off a WrestleMania winning streak at the 7th edition of the Show of Shows. He went on to win 21 straight matches at the mega event. The streak became a big WrestleMania attraction, and fans worldwide used to travel to the US for the sole purpose of watching it grow further. The streak finally ended at WrestleMania 30 at the hands of Brock Lesnar. To date, only Lesnar and Roman Reigns have managed to put the Deadman down at WrestleMania. The late Andre the Giant is the only wrestler to get a solo induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. He was the very first inductee into the Hall of Fame in 1993. Who else should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year? Share your list in the comments below.